welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Lauren.
And I'm Ian.
And this is our kettlebell workout class, week 6 of semester 5 out of 7 weeks. We have one more week to go. We've been working this semester on our rack squats as well as our full body get-ups. We'll get to that shortly. Let's get started with a warm-up. We have a bell off to the side that we'll be using, a warm-up bell, and then maybe a heavier bell for a workout. Here we go.
Let's get going. And let's get right to the floor here, implementing some of those ankle and knee bends as it conditions ourselves nicely for the squat. Let's get to the ball of the foot. That's a lunge foot, as well as those bar skills. You could join us later, but right now let's focus on the squat as we stand tall on your standing leg. Then up to 2 points quickly, and then a flat foot on the other leg with a straight knee. Hug the legs to the middle. Let's spread those legs in a squat in a second. But as we come up again, we'll get right back down, and this time integrate that knee bend on that flat-footed leg. Then push through. Then find another balance, and then back down to a straight knee and a flat foot, and then blend that into our knee bend. Then push through. And let's do that same thing one more time as a flat foot, blends that knee bend on the ankle and the knee, push through nice and tall, and final switch here, flat foot, get down nice and low. And then just peel up the other heel, and from that position, could we get a little bit lower, and then knees to the floor and those hips extend through, and we'll condition now the wrists and the shoulders to do our nice little loaded warm-up that way. It's the hinge on the hips, fingers, callus lines, and then full hands. And for 2 gentle repetitions here, let's look forward in our neck extension, and then chin tuck, looking between the hands most likely. Repeat again, and as we're doing this, are those blood donations facing forward, maintaining your breath and just checking in some nice gentle ranges with the neck. Now look between those hands or at the camera if you're not familiar, and get up to the first knuckle push-up. That's heels of the hands or the palms leave, but the fingers and calluses stay heavy. Repeating like Lauryn and making it more challenging as you need by stepping back into your modified planking position.
Or just really keeping your elbows straight.
Or emphasize those basics like scaps of the ears, shoulder blades, and keeping the elbows straight. Perhaps do that one more time, then flick the floor away, giving those hands a little bit of an opportunity for a reset. Let's do a quarter turn with those hands, as that is a position we find the wrist in our get-up. Fingers, calluses, and hands. This time for 2 gentle reps, it's an ear to shoulder. Move the head, but not the neck, as you go from one side to the other. Same thing, just once more each. Keep the breathing. The head moves just the littlest of bits, and the neck moves barely at all. Then push one way and go the other. That's pushing to the right and going left. Feel the tension in the fingertips get heavy. That's the same tension we want in those toes as part of our squat. And do 1 or 2 more here as you push from one side to the other. Take stock, are the elbows straight, are the shoulders down. Then return to the middle and then push away equally and push those hips through with a little shake. One more movement with those wrists. We'll make the fists this time. So with the fists, line up on your peace sign knuckles. And then from here, let's look over the shoulder in a gentle rotation pattern. And then through the middle, and then the other way as well. Maintain your breath. Small ranges are the best here. And again, nice gentle rotation. Long through that head, neck, crown of head position. And then back to the middle. This time, one hand at a time, open up the fingers so they're flush with the floor. And then gently flex over the wrist. Then push those knuckleheads back into the ground to return the wrist to stacked. Repeat, fingers open, flexing over, that's a nice stretch. Then that strength piece is being able to stack those knuckles back up underneath the wrist. One more time, fingers open, gentle flexion or bending over the wrist, and then push down to go up. And final time, fingers open, back of hand, knuckles, and then just from this position, just go back to the original shapes on those hands, nice extension. Hopefully that feels nice and grounded. And then with your knees down or elevated to bring it a little extra challenge, circle shaped with the shoulder blades to bring about some core strength and some shoulder blade awareness. So I hover my knees, feel free to keep yours down, and then retract the shoulder blades together, shrug up to the ears, push into the floor, and then pull back down to the hips, repeating again. Together, retraction, squeeze, elevate, shrug. Bless you, Lauren. And then pushing around, spreading blades, pulling back down to hips, gently place the knees down if they were hovering, and now switch our direction for 2 rounds as well. So that means we'll squeeze together, we'll pull those armpits down, push away, shrug up, pull down one more time, pull down to the hips, push in the floor, shrug up, pull down, and let's push that floor away and shake out those hands. And we're down here, and we have a nice little bell, and Lauren to tell us what to do next.
Let's get into an arm bar first, and we'll do some hip openers in between that. So we'll come down, we have a light kettlebell. We've been working on our arm bar the last couple weeks. It's where we cuddle the bell. Let me just think about my directionals here. I'm gonna go this way first. Sorry. We'll cuddle the kettlebell. It's a light bell, it's your warm-up belt here, as we roll to our back and then two-handed press. We'll set up similar to get up, where that bent leg will be the same as the arm holding the bell, but the off arm will then come all the way up towards overhead. Our long leg is nice and straight, and we're going to extend the hips, ending up on the side of our body. First here, let's take that knee and just hook it behind, take the foot and hook it behind the knee. Right now, you're trying not to look at the bell that's stacked above your shoulder. But think, is my wrist nice and straight? Shoulder pulled out of my ear. I'm still reaching that bell towards the ceiling as to not let it sag in the socket. As I have that stability in my shoulder as allowed, I'm going to unhook my foot and then slowly work my hip towards the floor. I like to describe this to people as wringing out a washcloth or opening up that T-spine. With every breath, I try to get that hip a little closer to the floor, but keep the shoulder packed and the elbows straight. And then I'll breathe. I'll find the floor with my foot. Control roll to my back. Two hands on the bell. Pull it down. Return it to the cuddle. Let it go and spin yourself around. We'll repeat the same thing on the other side. I like this as a warm-up as I get our shoulders all fired up and the little muscles in there. And then it gives us a little mobility through that upper back. Two-handed press. Arm goes overhead. Use that foot to use your hip drive as you would in your get-up. Roll to your side. Knee comes across, foot hooks. Find your stability first, reaching towards the ceiling, packing that shoulder into its lat. Unhook the foot when you're ready, and start slowly rolling the hip towards the floor. With that arm that's underneath your head is resting, and you're trying to reach that arm as long as possible. Breathe, roll, then stack the hips. Foot finds the floor behind you. Control roll to your back. Two hands on, pull the bell down, return it to the cuddle position, let it go. Take your time, let's flip over into our kneeling lunge, where we'll warm those up for our get-ups. So in that kneeling lunge position, let's have that vertical front shin. Good. Shoulders, woo, pull them on top of your hips. Bring the rib cage down, squeeze your back butt cheek. With that light tension pulling together, this is our stretching position, if you will, with the tension pulling together. We might even drift knee towards over toe. And now we'll push the foot forward to send ourselves back. Now we'll change the forces to a forward-backwards direction, which should then send you to the hover position. And then that mid-station position. And then the high position. And we'll pull ourselves down. Keep thinking about keeping those shoulders over top of the hips, landing softly. Give that a little shake and wiggle. We'll repeat the same thing on the other side. So other leg comes up. First, the forces are pulling together. That front leg is pulling in, that back hip is remaining extended as you drift knee towards over toe. Then push the floor forward, you're sending yourself back. Keep the cage down, the abs engaged. And then we'll change the forces. We're pushing forward and back, tension to hover, then to mid, then to high station. And then one last time, pull yourself back down. Place that knee underneath. Let's transition to our low squat from here. Do a little pry and then get into our halo.
Excellent. So that might be a little bit of a tricky action. Can we matrix it style like Lauren, or somehow get yourself situated just behind that kettlebell? From this position, let's tip the kettlebell on its side, grab it by the horns, take a breath in and up to that goblet hold. Keep your big toe heavy, but try to open up to the side and then chill in the middle. Then same thing other side. Keep your big toe heavy, open to the side, middle. Take a breath in, take a up as we stand, and then you can feel free to adjust your stance. From here, we'll do our kettlebell halo, where it's a kettlebell over a shoulder, towards the back of the head, around the other side, and back to the rack. Repeat again. Armpits stay low, grip stay firm, And that upper body is very active, but very quiet. And we'll switch direction. So now over the shoulder, the head doesn't move, rather the kettlebell is moving around our body here. As you do that one more time, the glutes are squeezing, core is bracing, back to the rack. Open up, let's pull ourselves back down to that squat, and just feel free to pry open those hips just a little bit, making sure we can still breathe over top of that. You'll end up probably looking to one side or the other here, and then we'll unbicep curl those arms down. Oops, leave the kettlebell there. Come up barehanded and check in. How does it feel in the grip with the straight arm? How does it feel as we navigate the body and then into that squat?
Excellent. I hope excellent is that answer as well. Let's warm up our squat position, pulling that bell to the rack. So standing over top of your bell, more to come. We'll hinge on the hips. We'll grip our bell with that 1-2 cuddle and pull it to that rack position. Let's perform one squat, but later we'll be performing more. We'll pull ourselves down. There's $1 million bill in your armpit. Don't drop it. Try to keep that elbow nice and tight, vertical. Chest is lifted, knees are pushing apart. Don't get so low that you get to chill out down here. Try to make it a bit of work, so much so you want me to say stand up.
I wanted you to stand up.
2 hands, put that bell down. Let's repeat the same routine on the other side. So it's a hinge to pick up, a pull to zip to the rack position. Pulling yourself down, toes are heavy, knees are lightly pushing out, elbows in tight, breathing and bracing, and then push the floor away to stand up. 2 hands, bell goes down, up without.
Nice.
All right, tonight's routine is simple but not easy. We'll be performing a get up on each side, followed by 3 rack squats on each side for 5 rounds. There'll be a slight variation as we go, but round 1, we'll start on the floor with our first get up. Come on down, no hands.
No hands. So I'll take my warm-up kettlebell and put it out to the side just in case I need it a little bit later. But here I am, working with that load of choice and waiting for Lauren's cues. Tell us what to do there, Lauren.
All right, it starts in the cuddle as your armbar did to a roll to a press. Set up in your get up and remember it's that hip drive and pull on elbow in one fluid motion. Good, squish the bug, try not to drag your hand. Sweeping the leg through, getting to that lunge position and using both legs to press yourself up. Keeping that vertical arm, we come back to how we warmed up, so we're pulling the floor together. Step, rotate, hinge. Sweep, elbow, push away from your elbow to find your back. Pull your bell down with 2 hands. Return it to the floor. Let it go. Spin yourself around. And repeat on the other side.
Repeating. So it always starts with that cuddle and like that arm bar, that hip drive from the bent knee. So pack your shoulder, get it to that firing range or arm bar-like position, and now drive through the hip, pulling yourself on the elbow. Then we'll sit tall. We'll bridge and sweep, press the floor away, square up the lunge, high tension to stand tall, and then return to the ground with control, avoiding a crash bang, open to the side, windmill hinge, sweep through, find the elbow, to the ground, and then 2 hands, bring it down to the cuddle, and again, try that no-handed get up, no hands.
So in our squats here, we're continuing on as we have the past couple weeks, and that I go, you go pattern. So Ian will take that bell to the rack position on one side, zip, adjust his stance to a squat position, and pull himself down. 3 consecutive squats. Use that hop a little bit, push down and out on the floor, keep the abs braced. Once done, adjust, use your hinge to place down. Team Lauren.
Follow this I go, you go. We'll do get-ups together here, and then choose to follow one of us in our squats, giving yourself nice opportunities for rest in between. Once you've done 3, that's our cue to get ready. Here we
Team
go.
Ian, second side. So you're holding it in that next arm, keeping the elbow in touch, pushing down and out on the floor, breathing and bracing. Little bit of work here. Over 5 rounds, we'll end up doing 6 times 5 squats.
Just a few. But making sure that the first one feels strong, the next one feels stronger. We will again feel a little more challenge in the middle, of course, whether it's aerobically or from that strength endurance perspective. But start with integrity and finish much the same way.
All
now,
right,
I knew what was coming up, so I did use a heavier bell last week, but I somewhat failed on the press. So I went down to my lighter bell here, where hopefully, according to Lauren's rules here, we'll get it done.
All right, so this time we're going to start that get up, but from the top. So we'll take our bell to the rack position, press it overhead, full get up down, full get up back up. This is the spicy variation I was talking about. So pull that bell to the rack, one press, leg you can touch will drop back. Control that lunge. Step, rotate, hinge, sweep through to the elbow, press away from the elbow to your back. Come back up, one step at a time, looking up towards your bell, thinking about each move as you go, getting to that lunge position. We'll pull the bell down to the rack and then place it down. Oh, did a little combo there last week, don't worry. I'm sure there'll be one today.
Combos to come up at the end.
Second side.
Whew. Hike it. It's into that rack position, and then we'll press overhead. The leg you can now touch, drop back your lunge, open up. That's our windmill. We'll sweep the leg to the tall sit, find the elbow, and arrive on the back. Then we're going to drive the hip in reverse, find our tall sit. Nice bridge, sweep of the leg, arm stays vertical, eyes on the horizon now. As we stand tall, and we'll pull it back down to rack, and then return to the floor. I think I went first the last time, so we'll get that Team Lauren to go first this time. Same idea on the repetitions, just about those threes here. Pull down, finish tall. Elbow tips, point to the ground. $1 million bell, safely secured in the armpit.
I mean, I think with inflation, we should bump it up to $1 billion.
Ooh.
Safe to say. So take that $1 billion bill and pop it in the armpit and try not to let it go. Pull yourself down, press back up, breathe. If you're finding it's a lot of work in that T-spine, you should probably need to work on that mobility, but keep the cage down.
The cage down.
Same thing other side.
The cage down with the abs that provide us that extension strength through that T-spine to stay tall. It's clearly out front, your pec is working too, but retract through those rhomboid or shoulder blade muscle groups to stabilize the movement as well.
As well, when you're holding a bell in this rack position, as heavy, no matter the weight of that bell, it's going to feel a little heavy in your hand, obviously the heavier it gets, but that weight should be loaded onto those lats, loaded onto the core, loaded onto the glutes, versus just heavy in that hand. To distribute the weight, use all your muscles. Round 3, keeping it simple, getting back to the floor. So come on down, maybe no hands again, and we'll go through get up number 1 on the floor, set 3. That's your cue.
Me cue. Got all roll press.
I was just talking. I thought I'd give.
Drive the hip. Check. Tall sit. Bridge. We're going to transition from the bridge to the lunge. But again, stay at a position that's challenging for you for time, and you can educate how to get through it over time.
What do you mean?
We'll open.
Like you don't have to go through it all the way up.
You don't have to go all the way. We are with control. But again, if it was to that tall sit, and that was pretty challenging, whether you're using a usual load, had a bad night's sleep, or a new load, take your time. Practicing time under tension will help.
So whatever you did on that side, you better do it on the other.
Woo.
So it's that cuddle, the roll, and the press. And by now, you know that get up, but you're still not rushing it. It's still step by step, thinking about each move. What I like about the get up is that's all you can really think about, especially with that heavy load overhead. Start daydreaming or thinking about work, and that bell will go somewhere it shouldn't. So take your time, pull the bell down with 2 hands, and then as usual, no handstand up. This time it's Team Ian's turn to go first. So Team Ian, set 1, 3 squats still from that rack position again. $1 billion bill in place. Nice. One last one there. Up. Great. My turn.
Where do you like your offhand? If you have one hand on the kettlebell, the other hand could be in that rack position, could be out to the side for some balance, but wherever it is, make it intentional. Use the grip to help you tighten up your core, and use it as a keel to maybe help you balance as well.
A what did you call it?
Keel.
Keel.
Rudder.
Keel. At the bottom of the ship. Boo, boo. keep yourself on course. That off arm also provides a little bit of tension. So with our press, with that squat, use it on the hardest part. You use it to get it out of the rack position on your press. Use it out of that bottom, to get it out of that bottom position.
That's right.
On your squat.
The toes to the ground doing the same thing. Grip down, press through the toes, the heels, the pinky, the big toe, all of it. And then when you're done, put it down and enjoy the shake. Third set, starting at the top. Fourth set.
Fourth set.
Nice, even better. Even better.
So we're starting at the top, which means we're starting with a press of that kettlebell. So whether you stand right over top of it or swing it to clean it, we're picking it up. First side, hippity hop overhead. And then as usual, the leg you can touch. Once we open, that's when we start looking at that bell. Sweeping to the elbow and towards your back. One more get up here. That's true and not true. But on this side, for set 4, it is true. Come to standing, pull the bell down, and return it to the floor. Hopefully, pace-wise, you're keeping the same pace we are for those get-ups. Most people, that's a civilized pace. Doesn't need to be faster, maybe a little slower, but this is good.
This is good. This is great.
Your call.
Second side. Here we go. It's the hike, and with full body tension, with that offhand to press. Lunge down, looking straight ahead. When we incorporate that windmill, we'll look up at the bell, and then we'll sweep through, find an elbow, and then push off the ground to our back. Drive the hip. Sit tall. Bridge. Sweep. Now transition your eyes to look on the horizon, those tension techniques from the lunges earlier, and then pull it back down with control and park it. Awesome.
Set 4, it was an even set, which means I go first.
Their turn first. How are you doing? Maybe you do have 2 kettlebells emerging here, one for the get up and one for the squat. Just take your time, and we can make it harder by going slower, but again, finish like you could do more. Lauren, could you have done more?
Yes, I could
Perfect.
have.
Good place to be today.
I'm slowly coming back from an injury through my upper back here. So I've been working with a lighter load the past couple weeks. It's been challenging because I like heavy weight, so it's been a little hard up here. But I also know for future gains, I need to ease back into this. It's better to be able to do it longer than heavier right now.
That's right. We believe in that consistent approach. Might not be the most intense all the time. We are here for the long haul. So I think 3 squats comes around pretty quick. And here we are together doing our last time for this set.
For this set.
I think
Good.
he said this set.
Yes, he did. This set. Phew. So last 3 on this side here. And then we're going to end with that little combo we've been working on the past couple weeks. And what that means is we just end up holding that bell for longer. Longer duration means longer time under tension, a little more work, a little more tension on those muscles. So this one we will do from lying down.
Sounds good.
We'll stand up with our kettlebell doing a get up, pull the bell down at the top, 3 squats, press the bell again, get up back down.
Awesome.
Sound great?
This is that movement that I did fail on my last side last week. So I've belled down just to make sure that I have that strength, endurance, and integrity to finish today's practice. So here goes nothing. Down with no hands.
Oh, whoops.
Cheater! And that's okay too. But be strict on the way up here, following Lauren's commands on the get up here.
So the usual cuddle roll press, the hip drive, the squish, the bridge sweep, press through, front foot moves. All right, here's where we bring our feet together. I like to pull the bell to the rack position. And then I find my squat stance. 3 squats here, pulling down, hopping to tall. 1 more. Stand up fully, feet adjust, press bell. Now get it back down. Good, I didn't see any squat thrusting actions to get that bell overhead. Not that I can see any, but I like that it was a distinct squat and then a press.
Nice.
Oh, there's a time and place for that push press. Hopefully today we can be strictish,
Nice.
but do use it if you need it.
And then here's that second side. It's the other side.
Other side.
Cuddle, roll, and press. Let's drive the hip, looking at the bell. sitting tall, bridging, squaring up that lunge, and then arriving tall again. Now we'll pull down to the rack, adjust your stance as you need. Breath in and hop to come up. Breath in and hop. And final one here, down and up. Move your feet, full body tension and hop. Got it.
Good.
Thank goodness. And then that leg will drop. We'll open in the windmill, look at the bell, sweep it through, find the elbow, and then to the back. 2 hands and down.
One last time to stand up with no hands.
No hands. Wow. Great.
Nice.
And again, our little shake there.
Oh, well, that was just a
Quick.
solid little workout. 10 get-ups, 30 squats.
Perfect.
No problem. Feeling strong. Doesn't have to be a lot to make those gains. And as we talked about today, also this week might be a little bit lighter bell because X, Y, and Z happened in your life. Next week, we might be back to that heavier bell. Progress looks like this.
Never a straight line, but always worth the time. So on Tuesdays, it's right here, 4 o'clock. Like, subscribe, over 1,000 subs. Thank you very much for following along. And then on Thursdays, we go to the other side of the room and we'll still practice that kettlebell press and integrate those pliés for hip mobility, balance, and coordination strength.
We'll probably lift that leg.
Leg lifts will make an appearance
Looks
too.
easy. It's not that easy.
Yep.
And then Saturday morning, we're back with our body weight strength and we're playing and progressing towards our handstands. We have one more week of live classes and then we're taking a little bit of a break. Don't worry, we're going somewhere really fun, but we'll be back after that.
Everyone needs a break.
Everyone needs a break. We'll be back after that. So one more week of classes. Join us as we continue. Until then, take care
Stay strong.
and let's train soon.
Have a good day.
Goodbye.